Well, hello everybody, welcome back to my small farm channel here on yet another windy day in West Man. Pulling out the chainsaw today. I'm getting started on selective logging to create some lumber for my chicken coop here in the backyard. Mostly because I'm bored and a little bit because I'm cheap. Show you a couple of the trees that I'm going to bring down today. I'm not actually going to show you guys me cutting down the tree because it seems to make you all pretty nervous, but I will let you know I am wearing steel-toed boots today. No sandals. Too many people were concerned about that, so yeah, I do have my steelies on, I promise. Granted, they're a Western style boot, but they're still steel-toed. My bit of compromise when I was at the welding shop there. So this one here, coming down, fairly slender, all the way up, and really is too close to these other trees to do itself any good. And then we've got one a few trees over. This is also very slender, unnecessary, surplus to requirement as it were. So out of these two I should get all of the posts and beams that I need. Just gotta wait for lulls in the wind to actually bring the trees down, keep things a little bit safer. Well, that took a little more creativity than I was expecting, but we've got it down. I've got most of the branches off of it, and I'm looking at it going, I gotta move this sucker now, right? The longest stretch of my coop is 15 feet. From side to side. It doesn't need to be super duper strong, so I'm going to take the top 15 feet of this, which I figure is going to be about near that log, but I haven't actually measured it yet. I will though, I promise. And we'll drag that down, and I'll start assessing the situation and seeing, well, what other posts and beams I can get out of this puppy. We can see here from where the actual cutting log is, I was a few feet off in my initial guesstimate, but that should be fairly easy to move back to where I'm building this thing. One cut and it can go. Alright, got that easily separated, dragging it to the back should be pretty straightforward. Go throw it down where I'm going to be building this here chicken pen. And then after that I guess I need two pieces, well at least one piece at 6 foot, and then one piece at 4 foot, two pieces at 5 foot. Yeah, I'm probably going to need another tree. Oh well. That's why I planned on a total of 3 of these things that I've chosen if necessary. And this 6 foot piece is going to be going from the long shed to our front fence. So we're starting to get some definition going on here. I think this chunk is probably going to end up as firewood, but I might shorten it down to 6 feet as well and just use it like as the bottom there so nothing's getting in at the bottom of the fence. We'll see. I'm going to put as much of this to good use as I can. But that one whole tree is now chicken coop. And you're next, my friend. Nice, tall, fairly consistent diameter. Oh yeah. Bringing it down, bringing it down. Then I'm going to use some of these longer branches, I think, for my rafters over the top. I do believe this plan is coming together. Like that branch there will be perfect because it doesn't need to be super strong. It's just holding some chicken wire and a little bit of snow. So yeah, this might actually work. Now that I've got these chunks of log sitting up here in front of the long shed, oh, this wind just won't bugger off. I'm starting to really have some concerns about the size of the hardware I'm going to need to mount this. So I think, even though I know my chainsaw is going to hate it, I'm going to try and quarter this. So I'll split it in half with the chainsaw, a long and painful process. You'll get to skip that. Then I'll flip them and I'll do it again. So I'll end up with 4 hopefully fairly uniform pieces out of that, and then it should be much easier to find nails and screws around here that can carry that kind of weight as compared to running off and getting stuff. 'Cause I'm trying to avoid running off and getting stuff. So yes, I am going to leave the 5 footers though in their original state, just because I kind of like the look of it, and it's carrying that weight downward anyway once it's all in place and fastened to itself anyway it will be. So that I think is still going to work out. I will, like I said, let you guys skip the long and painful process of trying to use that little 40-volt chainsaw to quarter 6 feet of timber. So yeah, we'll get back when that's all done. Before I get started with that though, I'm kind of thinking about doing that with this log too. This is the remainder of the base of the trunk. I think this is about 7 feet. Maybe a little bit longer, so I can cut it down as needed. But if I quarter this one up as well, then that should take care of almost all of my lumber that I need. and I won't necessarily have to cut those other trees down just yet, which is a double-edged sword. I mean, it'd be nice to get them down, but at the same time, it'd be nice to get the right size file and sharpen up that chainsaw before I bring down any more trees too. So yeah, so it's a little windy out, but hopefully this is mostly being blocked by the long shed. This is coming along way better than I expected. I'm one battery in, but I've got a good solid line all the way down the center, and I'd say I'm at least halfway into this sucker. So yeah, I'll have this probably done before I get tired of it today. If not, it'll get done quickly enough when I get back to it tomorrow. So I've cut most of the way through this with the chainsaw. You see that?
Let me see.
And then Shock's recommended we try this chisel that I found in the long shed. Basically, we're just trying to crack through the last little bit of this to get our initial halves. Thought it might be trying fun. See if we can watch it split on the backside as the chisel comes through. Might get a little loud.
Yeah.
And for the record, I am wearing steel-toed shoes, everyone. And that still didn't crack this sucker all the way. Well, I will get this done.
Man, I thought you were going to break that like a minute ago.
As if one of those portable lumber mills that I've been looking at doesn't already have a high enough priority. I think this really has sealed the deal. Splitting wedge, not my best idea, but definitely in keeping with the bearism, so that's totally cool. We're eventually got through this sucker. I'm gonna continue quartering it up with just the chainsaw, but I think I've expired all 3 of the batteries at this point, so done for now. More clips later. You know, when you stop and consider the fact that this little 40-volt chainsaw was totally made for urban use, limbing trees, you know, just little tiny crap work, that's pretty impressive. This took just over a battery to finish quartering, and I probably could have done it on a single battery if when I sharpened the chain that had worked out right. Still looking for the right size file, because of course they don't have them at the co-op. But that, yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. I'm just gonna clean up a little bit on here, future fire starter there, and then I'm super impressed. The stop starting problem on this little saw seems to be a combination of events. Either the battery's getting too hot or it's running out of bar oil, chain oil, which makes sense because as it's working harder, it's going to heat up the engine, it's going to heat up the battery. Well, engine, going to heat up the motor, and that's going to heat up the battery. So that totally makes sense. I'm trying to keep more of an eye on that. Excuse me, as I'm going through this. And yeah, I'm kind of a little more impressed with this chainsaw. It seems like every time I do something with it, I'm either more or less impressed, but I kind of plateau at this medium. It's bearable. It's a very bearable little saw, and I very much appreciate having it to use on my little farm here. So yes, back to it. There have been very few moments with this saw that I've wished it had an actual cord, but this is one of them. The battery died. I've got like 3 inches to go. Probably just going to split that with the chisel, even though that didn't really work so well for me the first time, but that will finish quartering that log today. Alright, so I've got my quartered pieces at 6 foot long here. One's going to go along the base. One's going to be going along at 5 feet because that's where the roof is going to be here. It's a little low for me, but we want to make sure we get rain running off of that and snow running off of that. So that'll give us a 2 foot drop from there to, roughly here. Decent little run for the chickens. I mean, it's nothing huge, but it's a whole lot better than factory farming cages and all of that jazz. Got 2 quarters over here. I think I'm only going to get away with using one of them at the full 6 feet because I am going to have to make my doorway into here, so probably 3, maybe 4 feet. Depends how skinny I want to make the doorway. But either way, I'm sure I'll find a use for that, and if not, I can cut it up further for firewood. That's what these trees were going to be destined to be anyway. So yeah, I got my 15-foot piece along here, starting to come together. Not going to be able to finish it today. Doesn't matter, my chicken wire's not going to be here till the 12th to the 21st. Nice vague area, that one. Eventually. It will get here eventually. So, I'm going to take that remaining log, like I was saying earlier. I am going to quarter it, cut it down to my 7-foot lengths, and use at least 2 of them. I'm basically just going to go right up along what is clearly a stud in the long shed. That's going to be my edge. I'm going to do the same thing over there, and this is all going to work. At least that's what I tell myself to help myself fall asleep at night, Really though, it is coming along fairly well. A lot better, a lot faster than I had expected. This chainsaw is performing pretty well today for all the grief it's given me in the past, so that is fantastic. Probably gonna wrap this video up here, and we'll get back to it again in the coming weeks as I get closer to getting this project done. But thank you all for sticking around and checking me out here on my small farm channel. I will see you guys in the future.